Hey guys, it's Shannon
Jake.
here from GTRU. Today we're going to be starting off with the entertainment news. Only a few stories and a few TV shows that we want to cover. Let's get started.
Here we go.
Alright guys, so we're actually going to be concluding a lot of our shows for this season because of Christmas. So there's only a few shows that were left to air. So now we're going to be talking about the Arrow, season 4, episode 9, which was the mid-season finale. It went in a lot of different places. Very dark episode this week. So basically, after Flash and Arrow basically stopped Vandal Savage in that big crossover event the episodes before, they're focusing back to their individual threats. So you got Arrow, he's still fighting Damien Dark in the Hive. And right now Oliver is just trying to get everyone's support because he's running for mayor. And Damien Dark actually attacks the beach that they're on for a fundraiser with a drone. And it injures a few people, no deaths yet, but it leaves Oliver very mad that Damien Dark is being such... There's children there, he almost killed innocent children. So it goes to show you how sadistic and ruthless this guy is. So throughout the episode, Oliver is basically rubbing in his face that we're going to fight, we're going to stand and fight against you and your organization, we're not going to let you run the city. But that leads to some consequences. Oliver's, basically his friends all get kidnapped by Hive. And then Damien Dark's like, I don't know where they are, come meet me here. And then you go to this base and he basically has all his friends in this gas chamber, to say. So he's basically... For him retaliating and exposing Hive, he's going to kill all his friends in this chamber. Lucky for him, Dark Arrow arrives and he actually pretends to be the Green Arrow, so to deceive Dark to make him think that Oliver is a Green Arrow. So it was pretty good. I like the fight scenes. There was a lot of cool fight scenes. Oliver got them all out. They all fought, and then they even fought Dark for a while. Him and Malcolm were fighting. It was cool. I like the whole fight scene there. They did end up blowing up that building where everyone was held at, so that was a big blow to Hive. But Dark was still alive, even though that looked like he blew up in it. It's not going to be that easy to kill him. What else happened this episode? You found out Mr. Terrific is gay. Character. Curtis is his name. It's funny you find that he brings a date to Oliver's party.
And it's a man.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, well, listen to my gentleman.
Yeah. Another thing too is that as I was saying the first episode about that tombstone, looks like at the end of the episode, Oliver gets attacked again by Hive and Felicity ends up getting injured. So I have a feeling that the person in the grave might be his girlfriend. Because at the end of the episode, he basically pulled her out of the limo and he's like, Felicity, she was waking up, she was bleeding from the head. So that's how the mid-season finale ended. Now, there's been a lot of speculation. It's okay.
I'm so sorry.
There's been a lot of speculation about what's to happen. Basically, a lot of people are saying that the show is deceiving us, that maybe Felicity makes it out, but someone else dies instead. Because they haven't confirmed the death, actually. They just show that she was injured. So maybe she survives and someone else dies, and that arrives at the grave, you know what I mean? But remember when I was talking about last week, how when Barry went back in time to stop Vandal Savage, remember that? That there was going to be repercussions? Because honestly, if Barry did not alter the timeline, Oliver and Felicity would have broken up. Because what happened was, in that episode, Oliver, we talked about this, he found he had a son. Mm-hmm. And then Felicity found out that he had a paternity test, and then he wasn't telling her. She said, why won't you trust me? We're over. But then when that whole battle went on, and Oliver didn't have his head straight, they all died. He went back in time, and that breakup never happened. And then now look where they are. Do you think that altered that? Do you think that's the reason she died was because of what they did? That time is basically punishing him for altering?
Honestly, in my belief, I think time, it works like that. I think if you don't take a certain path that you were originally on and you go back and you change it, if there was an idea of actually going back in time, I think you stepped on a butterfly, heroes reference, stepped on a butterfly, and basically now that butterfly is going to cause a chain reaction to something else. So it could be a cause of her death or possible
death leading up to it.
Yes. It's a possibility.
I feel like that you can't escape fate, and that if you do, something will happen. Great honestly, this is a great example of Prince of Persia, basically.
Oh, those are great.
He went back and changed time, but then look at all the stuff that changed
Everything.
after that. The vizier still lived, remember that? And the second one, he went all the way back in time. This is stopped the Haka, and then the vizier still lived alive. He took over his whole city.
Yeah.
But it's crazy, so. But, that's really all that happened in this episode. Is really focused mostly on Oliver and his inner struggle with this whole Damien Dark situation. They still have David's brother locked up, and he hasn't really been giving them any information about Hive. And we're kind of just learning his backstory, basically. There was some flashbacks that showed more to Oliver's undercover operation on the island, so it showed that. But the overall episode, I gave it was pretty good. To end the finale like that, a perfect amount of action, perfect amount of questions. So I gave it about a 10 out of 10. I liked it very much. That'll be it until January. The show will be back and we'll be talking about it again. Among a lot of other shows that are coming back in January.
Mm-hmm.
That's it for this episode. We're going to be talking, we're going to be continuing on our entertainment genre. Alright, so continuing on American Horror Story, there has not been no set date for this mid-season finale. There's actually supposed to be an episode on tonight, so it should be episode 10. It's almost over, 13 episodes, there's only 4 episodes left, so I don't know if they're going to just continue it for the rest of the season, because the last few years there's been breaks, but there hasn't been a break yet. So episode 9, this episode goes totally away from the 10 Commandments for Revelation we found out last week about John.
Crazy guy, yeah.
King of the 10, he was killing the whole time. He wasn't even in the episode. It was basically all about the revenge plot against Elizabeth, Countess. I remember Donovan, her former, I don't know if, Donovan, the former lover, and Ramona Royale, who's played by Angela Bassett, are basically plotting to take down the Countess because she rejected them, because that's what she does. She uses people through sex to basically get what she wants. But this episode focused a lot on her overall plot. A few episodes ago, we talked about how she was planning to marry Will Drake, the new owner of the hotel, for his money, and then she was going to kill him. And then basically she gets his money because she's been broke for a long time. So this episode goes through the marriage, and then the whole overall plot against her, how Donovan and Ramona finally make their move against her, but then Donovan actually ends up backstabbing Ramona because he's so freaking in love with the Countess, and then he's basically back on her side. But she has her own plans. She actually finds her first loves, who I was talking about 2 weeks ago, how they, Mr. March held them in the wall, basically. They broke out and went their own way, but she tracks them down, and she plans to basically kill her first love's wife, who's also a vampire, so that they can be together forever. So they're plotting this whole thing out, and he's like, I don't know if we can do it. She's my wife, lover. He's like, well, who do you love more, me or her? So we'll see how that all turns out. It honestly ended all in her favor, really. Because of Ramona Royale, because Donovan betrayed her, they captured her, and then they locked her and Will Drake, her husband, in that same wall that her first loves were in. So basically to make it show that she had no implications in his death, because Ramona Royale was a vampire. She made her, Lady Gaga made, Elizabeth made her a vampire. So by locking her in that wall with him, she's gonna get hungry.
And she's gonna
eat him. Which happened at the very end of the episode. At the end of the episode, she's like, I need blood, and they're stuck in there, and she basically murders him and eats him alive. And she watched. Elizabeth watched, and smiled. So she got all his money, and Donovan is kind of, I hope Donovan really sees that she really is conniving. He did follow her to that when she found her first love. So if he did see her, with another guy, maybe he'll come back to his senses. But that was really all that happened this episode. Like I said, the rest of the characters. Oh, actually, there was one thing. The children. In episode 5, a bunch of kindergartners became vampires and basically ate the whole school. But anyway, we actually go back to that story in this episode. They're basically going around just eating people, basically, and then John's wife, who basically started this whole thing, Alex, tracks them down. She's like, you got to come back to the hotel. We can straighten you guys out. And they're like, screw you. We can do whatever we want. We're invincible. But that was really all they showed. So like the police were on their way and the kids took off, and she tried to get them to come back with her, but she didn't. So I don't know how that's going to be the overall end game in this whole story. Like, how's that to do with the hotel? What's going to happen? I'm not sure. But that was it. And then actually, Iris, Donovan's mom, actually is getting into the groove of her new vampire life. She killed a bunch. She killed these guests for shooting a porn star video. She's like, I don't know why. She kind of just went in there and just started stabbing everyone. So I was kind of like, oh, okay. Very little porn. Like, okay, this is not normal at all.
For the show, yeah, it's normal.
So far, I like this episode. I was moving forward. It has those cool twists, like Donovan's betrayal. Lady Gaga's winning this whole thing, and she's always a step ahead of everyone. Hopefully, we'll see what happens in the next 4 episodes, how they conclude everything, how everything draws together. Overall episode, I gave the rating about maybe a 9 out of 10. Very enjoyable. Can't wait to see what happens in the next one, which we'll talk about next week. And that's it. Anything you want to talk about American Horror Story, Shane? Any questions you had?
Nope.
All right. So we're moving on to our next show, Z Nation. All right. So Z Nation, we are almost done with the season. Season 2, episode 14. I really didn't like the episode.
Wow, that's actually a really big surprise.
Well, it's not that it was bad. The timing of the episode was kind of weird. So we're 2 seasons into the show, and this is the first, basically, episodes that really show the character's backstory. And it's been a very long time. I feel like this episode should have been placed before. I feel like basically this whole
misplaced episode.
Yes, the whole episode honestly is about the character's backstory. Because the end of the last episode, they just escaped the Zero's base, and they're basically like only a few miles away from California. So basically, it showed them walking, they're talking, but then throughout each sequence, it went back into the first day of the apocalypse. It showed Doc's backstory, Murphy's backstory, everyone in the group's backstory, even Citizen Z, who we haven't seen since a few episodes ago. He's barely been in the season. But anyway, I liked the backstory, but I just didn't like that it was the penultimate episode, meaning that I feel like their backstory should have been explored throughout the show. I feel like an episode should have focused on Doc, and kind of how Lost had it. They showed an episode, this person's backstory, that one's.
Love that show.
Exactly. They showed them all in one episode. So it's a whole
too much to go on.
Yeah. But the end of the episode, they actually end up getting to the point they've been trying to reach, the California safe house, where there's some kind of hooded figure sitting there, and I don't know what they're going to do. But evidently these people are supposed to be able to make a vaccine with Murphy. So we'll see how that all concludes on the overall episode, because like I said, I liked it, but it was very misplaced. I feel like it was kind of just one of those time filler episodes, which I like. You gotta kind of keep up the momentum to get to the finale and keep people interested. So I gave the overall episode only a 7 out of a 10.
Damn.
Yeah, but hopefully the finale really fulfills off. Last season's finale, when they launched the nuclear bombs, that was very awesome. I like that, the whole cliffhanger behind it. I really can't wait to see how they're going to end it, because it has been confirmed for a 3rd season, so we know this isn't the end game for all those Citizen Z Nation lovers, basically. That's about it. Nothing else happened, and I'll let you know how the season finale goes next week. We're moving on to our last and final show for this episode in the entertainment category, Jessica Jones.
Super Punch! Jessica Jones, guys. I bet he's going to die probably by the end of this season, because I'm going to be punching him every single time. I'm sorry, I just want super strength.
All right, so we're continuing this Netflix original that has aired last few weeks. We're on episode 4 now. Jessica Jones, Kilgrave. She's continuing her hunt for Kilgrave, which is basically the main element of this plot. So basically, last episode, she finds out that someone's been following her. So this episode focuses on her basically
Figuring out who it is.
who it is. She's going to every like angle, because she's seen the pictures, trying to figure out who's been following her, and everything. And at the same time, she's actually trying to figure out this whole case with that couple.
Oh, yeah, she gets a case from a couple who ends up turning to be
A setup.
Yeah.
She wanted her to find out about her husband cheating on her, but when she was followed the guy, he was in bed with his wife. So she was kind of like, this is all set up. She goes in there and then she's like, leave me alone. I'm just living my life. You're really gonna just like shoot me.
Yeah, and so she wrecked the place.
Everything. She's like, if I ever see you again, I'll kill you. So her whole attitude of the show is very funny, honestly.
Oh yeah, I liked her character in it.
Definitely. She actually did find out who was following her, and it was actually Malcolm.
But wait, do you remember how exactly she got the footage?
First, she went to one of those meetings. She actually this episode. I'm glad you mentioned that. This episode, she started her own group. Remember, she started a social group that went through the same thing that she did with Kilgrave.
Yep.
So it was kind of like a PTSD type of thing. But she found out from one of the guys from the meetings that he used to meet with some guy.
Yeah, he would have to drive Kilgrave around for like 24 hours.
And then he'd have a blue scarf on. So she basically, from all the angles, she saw him taking pictures. She took, she hacked.
No, she didn't hack. She used the police officer. She became friends with him.
Donovan.
And then...
She basically, he gave her credentials, basically. Yep. And basically, that was that. She got in. She found out it was Malcolm, who was...
the druggie.
The druggie. So this whole time, that's been her friend, has been really selling her out to Kilgrave this whole time. What else happened? Oh, speaking of Simpson, him and Trish were talking, and he wants to help out, stop Kilgrave, because he made him almost die last episode, so...
He thought he actually killed Trish.
Yeah, even though that was all... the whole thing was pretty sad. That's about it for this episode. What did you give it, Shane?
Honestly, I liked the episode a lot. I want to give it a 10 out of 10, being that it covered exactly what happened with the couple, gave a little reference to the Avengers, being that in the room, the crazy woman said, "Oh, you're just like the green guy," basically a reference to Hulk.
The Thor one. There was a Thor one. The hammer.
The hammer. I also like how it showed a little bit of more of her abilities, being that she's able to jump really high and she's destroyed like the hell out of everything. And also I like how they really put the the story on Trish a little bit, being that they did do it throughout the beginning of the show, but now they're actually trying to put Donovan and Trish together, explaining what's going on with her life.
Yeah, basically. And then also, you got, your new characters coming in, stuff like that. But we'll just see what happens with this whole Kilgrave thing, see how they resolve it. We'll see if she uses Malcolm to actually get Kilgrave next episode. Well, that'll be next week. I also gave it a 10 out of 10. I thought it was very good. This whole show's been very excellent. Netflix has done very well with the Street Fighters of this superhero Marvel universe.
Soon Iron Fist, we get to start reading that.
Yeah, they actually confirmed. There's going to be a character from Jessica Jones in Iron Fist. It's going to be the lawyer, Jerry.
Oh, my God.
The lesbian who's trying to basically
that would piss me off.
Right? She's like cheating on her wife, and she's trying to get her to sign those papers. So we'll see what happens with that, see how they basically come into the plot. But that's it for the shows. Moving on to some technology. And here we go.